Good afternoon and good morning, everyone. This is Ethan Perry from Loyalty360, and welcome back to Leaders in Customer Loyalty Brand Stories. In this series, we talk to the leading minds working at some of the biggest brands in the country to cultivate customer loyalty and create amazing customer experiences. It's great to have you with us every Thursday. For today's episode, we are talking with Steve Galanis, CEO of Cameo. Welcome, Steven.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time. We really appreciate it. So for those who may not be familiar with Cameo or haven't bought a short form video from you guys, can you give us an introduction to what you do and how the company was started and what's led you to the amazing success you've had?
Sure. Cameo is a marketplace where you can book personalized video messages from tens of thousands of the most interesting people in pop culture. We started the business in 2017 with the idea that the selfie was the new autograph. My co-founder, Martin, was an NFL agent, and he showed me a video that he'd gotten made of one of his players congratulating this guy on becoming a dad for the first time. And I remember watching this video, and he was just showing it to me to say, like, look at the aura this guy's got. He's a star. Maybe he could be in movies. But I remember just watching this, and I was like, Martin, we should sell those. And that was in 2017. We're almost 9 years into this now. We've sold millions of videos, have a 4.9 star app in the App Store. And, among the millions of videos that we've done, if you look at our customer reviews, it's like 4.99999 with a lot of nines all time. So we really live to create magical moments for our fans and the people that they love the most.
That's amazing. So can you tell us a little bit more about your role and how you got to where you are, kind of what positions led you to become CEO at Cameo?
Well, I started the company, so that helps a lot. And it is the only job I've had at Cameo. I've got two amazing co-founders, and obviously we've had so many incredible people that have worked here to help, make sure that we have the talent on that's going to surprise and delight our fans. And from a marketing and tech side, just kind of a dream team that we've had to put this, amazing product experience together.
That's awesome. So in your role, what keeps you up at night? What's the biggest challenge or opportunity that you're facing these days?
It's funny because a lot of times people will be like, "Did you ever think Cameo would be this big?" And the truth is, like, I look at it every day. I'm like, I can't believe we're this small. This is such a global opportunity. We believe there's about 50 million people in the world that could be professional creators on Cameo. Today we have 60,000, right? So we have a lot of work to do. Ultimately, the grand vision of Cameo was to create the marketplace for people's time. For X amount of money, you as a fan should be able to pay to do Y activity with Z person. We've really just kind of focused in on the first Y activity all these years, the personalized video shout out, because it's a really easy thing to do. We're asking for kind of 30 seconds to a minute of someone's time. It's asynchronous. They don't have to be the same way. There's no safety issues. So it really was like kind of the great first product for us to do. And as the business has expanded into other experiences like live calls, we own a merch company. We also have a B2B business that's been growing pretty rapidly called Cameo for Business, where brands could come and find bespoke brand endorsements, people to endorse their product or service. That's been a lot of fun. We had a great customer event last night here for that with a bunch of talent.
That's awesome. So you kind of touched on a lot of the interesting things that you guys do, and Cameo really sits at kind of a unique intersection of entertainment, fan engagement, and the creator economy. So how are you seeing this space evolve in response to shifting consumer expectations and different digital behaviors?
Well, I think there's a couple things, and if you want to take it from the creator economy perspective, the whole idea of the creator economy is that there's more people than ever that are looking to the internet to kind of monetize their creativity. And one of the main ways that they do that is they accrue a following on an Instagram, a TikTok, a Snapchat, et cetera. And then they find other things to sell because most people do not make any money from the ad share on the large platforms. Um, Obviously, as we've moved from kind of a following based graph on the social networks to an algorithmic based graph, it's getting harder and harder for celebrities to actually reach the people that they care the most about, which are their fans that follow them, that have explicitly subscribed or said they want to see them. And how often are you on Instagram these days where 30 minutes goes by, you're doom scrolling, and next thing you know, you're like, you see a wedding that of all these people you didn't even know, and you're like, wait, was I supposed to be at that wedding? Because most of the content that's out there has nothing to do with your following graph. So a lot of what we're building on our longer term roadmap at Cameo is almost creating like talent-based loyalty programs. So think like fan clubs. You look at some of the best bands of the world, someone like Pearl Jam, or you look at the Grateful Dead. Like, why have they been able to have these like rabid fan bases? It's because they have the customer data and they almost are acting like a CRM, like a business would do, to let their best fans know, hey, here's my merch drop. Here's when we're coming to your town. Here's an early access to the tickets that are coming out. And what we want to do at scale, I think bands have done fairly good at that over the years, but digital creators like don't have that infrastructure. And we would like to be the front end of them to be able to like cultivate and reward their biggest whale fans.
That's awesome. Well, as customer loyalty enthusiasts over here, we were excited to see that Cameo recently launched Red Carpet Rewards program.
Yeah.
Yeah, how does this new initiative support, some of that long-term vision for fan engagement and deeper, more meaningful relationships with your customers?
Well, number one, Cameo historically has been a product that like people use. It's got like an insanely high NPS. They love it. And then ultimately, like we haven't done a great job at getting people to come back. Now that said, we have some whale customers that have spent, six figures a year just on the consumer side. So we have huge enthusiasts, but for most people, it's a one and done. And one of my board members, Bing Gordon, who's kind of like a legendary consumer internet guy, just because Steven, I have never seen in my entire career a company with this high NPS and this low repeat rate. And a big part of that, in my opinion, is that we haven't done a good enough job kind of like winning back these really happy customers that are coming through. So ultimately, with Red Carpet Rewards, what we first want to do is retroactively honor you for all of the business that you've given us in the past. So Red Carpet Rewards members, once they create their profile, we actually are going to give them 5% back in credits to spend by the end of this year. And it'll be like airline miles going forward. But for year one of the program, we're going retroactively back. So any of your listeners that have bought cameos from us or multiple cameos, you're leaving a lot of money on the table if you don't go create your red carpet rewards profile. So we're really excited to go do that. In the longer term, we would like to take the magic of Cameo, like what we do, bringing, amazing people together and provide our loyalty members with like one of a kind experiences. During the NFT kind of era, we created something called Cameo Pass, which was extremely popular. We had a lot of great events, and that was at the time like our big loyalty play. Um, as a brand like Cameo, we are, as you mentioned, we're a tech company, but we're also an entertainment company. So we have tentpole moments that we activate at. Lollapalooza, Super Bowl, kind of these big global events that, we throw, really cool exclusive parties, or we have like really awesome, we have awesome speakers, and we want the red carpet reward members to be, that's kind of their ticket behind the red velvet rope on anything that Cameo does. So that's something that, you'll see to come. And then lastly, we have a lot of great relationships with brands because we have our B2B business as well. So in the future, like if I'm looking 5 years from now, I hope that our loyalty program, has integrations with a lot of other top ones, and we're cross-selling with the brands that we partner a ton with on the B2B side or relationships that I have. So we really want to make this kind of as fun and as valuable of a loyalty program as anybody's going to be a part of at scale.
Wow, that's really cool. And that retroactive reward is got to be attractive for folks who are some of your most loyal customers. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, like when we were even doing the math on this, because the consensus has been the repeat rate is just too low to like have a loyalty program. And then when we really dug into the data, like we had hundreds of thousands of people that have been multi-time buyers, and there's over 100 people that have spent over 100 grand on Cameo just on the consumer side. And my team didn't know any of those people. So when we did the launch for this, not only did I invite that cohort first, but like I gave them my cell phone number. I'm like, if you need anything, here's my cell phone number. Call me. I will help. Right. And that's roll out the red carpet as our first corporate value. And that's why we named Red Carpet Awards what we did. And the whole idea with that is anytime you're interacting with our brand, you should feel like you're being escorted down the red carpet at the Oscars. Like that's how we want anytime you touch our brand to feel. And we want our red carpet rewards members, we want our talent to know that they're an RCR member so that Cameo gets prioritized and maybe they put a little extra special love into it. We're pumped to see where this goes.
That's really cool. And so, as a tech company, I'm sure you guys are always talking about data, and as loyalty people, data is at the heart of a lot of what we do too.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you guys look at, the role of like the value exchange between collecting people's data and then providing back to them something in the form of personalization? How does that work into your loyalty strategy?
Well, it's the whole core of our loyalty strategy, as it is for most. But I'll give you a really like interesting example. So, Ethan, if I buy you a Cameo, and let's say I know that you're a big like Cincinnati's Reds fan, I'm a big Chicago Cubs fan, right? Like I don't necessarily as Cameo, the end recipient right now is kind of out of our loop. So I'm the customer, right, that bought it, but 85% of Cameos are bought as gifts. So for a long time, we've missed out on the ultimate recipient that's actually the Reds fan. Right.
Ah,
So for me, if I just look at who I bought, it isn't necessarily correlated with what I like. So that's always been a problem for us as far as like retargeting and personalized marketing. So part of the RCR program is you sign in. So I buy that Cameo for you. I then am prompted to join RCR. Part of joining RCR is I have to give you a couple categories that I'm really interested in. So I like the Chicago Cubs. I like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I like Survivor, right? And I would put those shows in. And now when you open the app in the future, right, we're going to use those groups that you said you like or the talent that you favorited, and those will be the people that you're hearing from on a marketing perspective. So, having done millions and millions of cameos and not having, because we've always made it such a lightweight experience where, we basically had your email or your phone number. We didn't have anything else on you. In most cases, we didn't even have your name. This is just the beginning of kind of like doing a lot of retroactive work to close the loop and make sure that we have the data that we need on our customers to serve them as well as we possibly can.
awesome. So as you start to evolve that and you're working on building out this red carpet rewards program,
Yeah.
what are you looking at to measure the success of your loyalty and customer engagement efforts? Are there KPIs or benchmarks that are most important to you and your team?
Yeah, we're in the top of the first inning on this. So right now, it's like there's been a big win back campaign. So we've gone to the millions of emails in our CRM. We presented them with this personalized offer. Hey, hey Ethan, like you've got 600 RCR points waiting for you, which is X amount of dollars. Like we would love you to join the program to claim it. So we're starting with that. So from just a pure sign up perspective, that's the first thing we're looking at it. Secondly, we're looking at like the usage rate of those credits, right? We've given you the credits. Are you using them? Are people taking their credit and just buying one Cameo, or is that the beginning of them kind of having more like a higher purchase frequency and more frequent retention? So right now it's all about kind of building this list up. There's a ton of work that we've been doing on trying to win back the old customers and then making it a great part of the new purchaser flow, right? So you order the Cameo, you have a great experience. Right when you're done, you get an email from us now saying, hey, join our loyalty program and, you're going to get this many points with this purchase. Just like, if you try to buy a flight on American Airlines or something and you're not in, the Advantage program.
Awesome. Well, are there any metrics you wish you had more visibility into, or some area where like maybe a different industry standard would help?
We're so early. It's like this is 0 to 1 work for us. So it's like we had 8 years where we didn't have a program. Now we have a program. And we want to just build awareness about that, make sure people are coming in. And then we also want to hear from, our users, like what do you want to see out of this program as well? There's a lot of things that we're excited to potentially offer down the line. So you could imagine RCR members maybe get like almost like Amazon Prime members, maybe get like a faster guaranteed rate of like when their video is going to come back to them. You could imagine RCR members getting first look at new talent, like when they come on, like they're the first people that get the email before we email the rest of the CRM list. Especially for like talent that are doing like limited duration drops. So we want to have a cultivation there. And then the other thing that we're doing is we're creating a newsletter. I've never done anything like this before, but so many brands that I admire are really building in public in a big way. So we're actually going to, starting this next month in July, have a monthly CEO like update to the RCR members. So it's almost like an investor update, but just to the customers. Here's what's going on. Here's what's new at Cameo. Here's what to look for. And I'm excited to like ship that first one and get some feedback and iterate from there.
That's awesome. So one of the things that we keep hearing about is that, kind of in this time of a lot of economic uncertainty and change happening, that the definition of value is changing, especially when it comes to like digital experiences where personalization, speed, and exclusivity matter more.
Yeah.
Um, how are Cameo users defining value and how are you responding to their needs through the pricing, the loyalty program, or even those great experience designs that you're talking about?
Yeah, it's a really good question. It's something we talk about a lot here. And part of it is just making sure we're always listening to our customers and saying, hey, this is the type of thing I would pay for or not. So a really good example of that is if you were to zoom out, I love Jeff Bezos. Somebody asked him one time, like, if you had to design a 10-year strategy for the company, like, how do you even think about where to start? And Jeff's like, well, I have no idea where technology is going to be in 10 years. Like, there's all these, AI, all this shit. Like, I have no idea. But there are a couple things I know for certain. Number one, I know my people are not going to want to pay more for their goods in the future. They're going to want to pay less, right? Secondly, I know that people are going to want faster delivery, not slower delivery. So he basically has this list of things. And for Cameo, for us, we know that our users get the highest value when the Cameo comes as quickly as possible, when it's as well done as it possibly can be, and when it actually happens. Because there is a percentage of our orders that don't get fulfilled. If the town's busy, something happens, they don't do it in the time allotted. So it started with finding early, like, what are the things that our users are like clamoring to pay for? And, for us, the first one of those was 24-hour turnaround. So, there is an expedited price basically where people can pay a little bit more, but it's like guaranteed to come in the 24 hours. Um, and when I think about the value that could accrue to the membership base, like maybe at some point, like, free 48 hours, for example, is something that, we could offer. It's not a SKU that we charge for today, but it could be a nice perk versus the 7 days that a normal customer would have to get the Cameo turnaround. Another one that we've seen recently is our watermark removal. So for a long time, we've always been really adamant about keeping the Cameo watermark on the video, but we've had a lot of customers over the years that said, "Hey, we would love, I'd pay you to like take the watermark off, right?" And we just tested out a watermark upsell, watermark removal upsell. So for $10, you pay a $10 upcharge and the watermark goes away. And that was extremely popular. Now we're testing it out at different price points. So you could imagine maybe RCR members get something like that for free in the future. Those
Nice.
are the types of things that I'm excited as the program goes to just like have things that we're not charging for and then accruing like value to our Red Carpet Rewards members.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I mean, centering the voice of the customer is always an excellent idea. So it sounds like you guys are on the right track. Um, so I know you guys are early in the loyalty game at Cameo, but what would you say is the next big thing for customer loyalty or even just customer experience at Cameo? Are there any emerging technologies or ideas you're exploring to like help take that fan engagement to the next level?
Yeah, there's a lot. So, for those of you that are like have followed the Apple versus Epic Games lawsuit, one of the reasons that we have not been able to build our app out or make it like the destination, despite it being a 4-star, 4.9 star app, like routinely ranked like one of Apple's top 25 apps for 2025. One of the things that really hurt our business model is that Apple was taking 30% off the top of any purchase in the app. So the talent, if you booked a Cameo in our app before 6 weeks ago, it's $100 Cameo. The talent would be making $52.50 versus the exact same video booked on web, they get $75. So that was always like a big issue for us. So the talent either like didn't want to do the cameos that were booked in the app, which was about 15% of our orders because they were making less for the same work, or what they would do is they would raise their price up by 42%. So they would still make the same, but then now you're charging your customers more money. We're really excited with the Apple versus Epic ruling that we now are able to allow users to either check out on web or check out on app, and the app pricing is like 42% higher. So we let the consumers make that decision. But the big thing that we're going to do now is we're now going to close the loop and make sure that every person that buys a Cameo, they get in our app ecosystem. And this is important because we know that retention is higher in the app. You have things like push notifications. There's a lot you can do with personalization that's there. So now that the business model allows us to do it, we're going to quadruple down on what we're building into our app, make really fun, cool, engaging experiences that our users can do. And kind of for the first time, we're going to be thinking about DAUs, right? We never really, as a marketplace business, DAUs didn't matter to us so much in our app, but that's going to be one of the big things that we're doing. And when you think about what drives DAUs, it's usually some combination of messaging or some type of feed. So these are all things that are in the app a little bit today, but we're really going to double down on. And we just want to keep people, in our ecosystem and give them more and more value, and as the network effect continues to increase.
That's awesome. That sounds like you guys have a lot of exciting things on the horizon there, so that's very cool.
Yeah.
Um, in the early days, what are two or three things you're most proud of for the Red Carpet Rewards program?
It's been really cool. Like I've had customers that have, I give my cell phone number, right? And I have like this one customer that's probably texted me, 10 times in the last month and a half since I rolled that out. And, just even developing like a relationship with that, like somebody that's a real whale customer of our business. Hey, when you're in Chicago, come by HQ, like we'll send you out some merch. Like I just sent this girl, a bunch of t-shirts that, lives in Nebraska. And like that's just the type of thing that wouldn't have happened if not for the program. The other thing that I think is cool is it really was such like a cross-functional effort to get loyalty. Like loyalty programs are a lot more complex, as I know this audience knows, but it's like, is this US only? Is it outside the US? Like, what are the rules there? What can we actually like? What can we collect? How do we use it? So I've learned so much from that, and huge shout out to our legal team, our product team, our engineers that, have had to like kind of learn on the fly on this, but I think we got it to a pretty good place.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy launching a loyalty program from scratch. So kudos to you guys for making the investment and putting that at the center of your strategy going forward. It's a smart move, but it's definitely not easy.
Well,
So,
and the good thing is we started with a lot of happy customers, right? So
yeah.
it's a brand that people have always been excited about. Even our people that have bought once, they're huge net promoters of it. And I can't tell you how many people have their Cameo story when they find out what I do, and they want to talk about the Cameo they got for their uncle for his 70th birthday. And I love those stories. Just like anybody, if someone was talking about your kid and like, like a great baseball game they had or something, you'd be so proud. And that's how I feel every time I have a customer come up and talk to me. And I think this is the pipes of us having much better relationships with our customers.
And that's what loyalty is all about, right?
Yes.
Well, Stephen, that brings us to our world famous quickfire questions section. We try to keep the answers to these to like one word or short phrase. So I'm going to jump right into it. What is your favorite word?
Catalyst.
What is your least favorite word?
Can't.
Hmm. What excites you?
Making people happy.
What do you find tiresome?
Uh, Nagging.
What book do you like to recommend to your colleagues?
I have so many, but for entrepreneurs, I always recommend The Hard Thing About Hard Things.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Well, I tell people when they ask me what I do that I'm a horse jockey all the time, so maybe that.
Awesome. What do you enjoy doing that you don't get to do as often as you'd like?
I really enjoy experiential, like getting out in front of our customers in the wild. We have a bunch of interns working at the company right now, and they're doing all this like fun man on the street content, and I always just get a lot of energy out of that.
Awesome. Who inspired you to become the person that you are today?
My babu Spiro, my grandfather.
Awesome. What do you typically think about at the end of the day?
It's always Cameo. There's always so much like how can we be better tomorrow? Team drama issues, where we're going. So just those are ever present, omnipresent.
Yeah. And how do you want to be remembered by your friends and family?
I want to be remembered as somebody that gave people the best experiences of their life.
Awesome. Well, Stephen, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. It was really a pleasure talking with you and learning more about Cameo and kind of seeing the future for this amazing company that, I've known about for a while, but it's really cool to see you guys branching out. So thank you so much for coming and telling us all about it, and good luck with all of your red carpet rewards program improvements in the future.
Thanks, Ethan. Excited. And if you bought cameos and you haven't joined our CR, go check your email. The link's waiting for you.
Awesome, and thanks to everyone for listening. Make sure you check back with us every Thursday for another episode of Leaders in Customer Loyalty Brand Stories.